So if anybody thinks I look a little weird, and that's okay. That's okay. This is for nighttime, honey. This is so when I go out in the daytime, I am at my glorious and my most fullest. Hey guys, welcome back. Hey subbies and hello newbies. That's anyone checking me out, perhaps maybe for the first time, maybe second, maybe third. We don't count around here. I just appreciate everyone who's peeking in. So while you're looking, why don't you stay a while and come on in. Today you came on a good day. Well, every day is a good day that you pass on through. I am going to revisit something that I have touched on previously as far as my regimen. As my hair is growing and as it gets a little bit longer, I've noticed that I've had to make a little bit of changes, a little bit of tweaks here and there. And one would be including my wrapping. You know, I wrap my hair every night without fail. But I wrap my hair every night. And I noticed, well, you know, with the changes in my hair, when it was shorter, it was just 1, 2, 3, bip, bam, boom. I could just wrap it up, put scarves on and be done with it. But now, again, now that it's longer, I've had to more so take more time and more care with wrapping it up because I noticed that as it's getting some length, it can be a little bit more tangled, okay? Instead of just whipping the comb through it and whipping it up on top of my head, I have to take a little bit more care so that I'm not causing any unnecessary breakage and not rushing through it, causing any tangles. So with that being said, anybody who's not familiar with the first one, I'll have that down below. But this is new and improved, Wrap It Up Part 2. So without any further delay, let's go right on ahead and show you what I'm talking about. So, like I said, I wrap my hair every night, okay, before I go to beddy bye. I also wrap my hair up if the weather's, if there's inclement weather, and if it's storming or raining, something like that, maybe I'll wrap it up and put a bucket hat over it, just to conceal everything because we don't go outside in our scarves, okay? That's not something we do. So anyway, I may wrap it up and conceal it under a hat if it's rainy, but for the most part, I wrap it up every night. So when I wrap it up, I have 3 go-tos. Number 1 would be the comb. The second would be my wrap cap. Now they call it a wrap cap, even though ironically, it doesn't cover the cap or the crown of your head, but that's what they call it. It's a wrap cap. Now this one is by Evolve. Okay, so I've spoken about this before. It has Velcro on it and it's just a strip of material, okay? It's silky material, so to speak, and it comes with, the ones that I got, it comes with the wrapping scarf as well as a mesh version for those who do wet sets, okay? So if you want to wrap your hair wet or any type of wet style that needs molding, this would be good for this so that you can, so that the air can get to your hair. But anyway, so it comes with 2 different scarves. I don't use this one because I don't wet set my hair. So I use the wrap cap. And being that it doesn't cover the middle or the crown of my head, that leads me to the next scarf, which would be Old Faithful. And those who are initiated and have been with me since the beginning of time, this is the U scarf, or what I refer to as the U scarf, yes, because of its shape right in there. And it reminds you of a doobie or a wave cap, but the material is a little thicker. So this is just a wrapping scarf that I use on top. So yes, I do 2 scarves. And again, no hating on my scarf, please. Yes, it has seen better times, but it works. And that's the whole point. It works. So we're going to leave it right to that. So anyway, I'm going to show you what I do as far as wrapping my hair. And it's pretty much, it's not a whole lot to it. But again, I want to show you the little revisions that I've done. And it's mainly in the prep. And plus, I don't think I've ever shown you when I've actually used both of the scarves. So here we go. So when I go about wrapping my hair, I like to part it first, okay? So I get my bangs to the side. And what I do is I part it in the back. I have a small portion here and I leave this other portion, you know, laying down, and I bring this forward over my shoulder. Okay, so I bring this forward over my shoulder, and what I'm going to do is I'm basically going to work with this section. I'm going to work with my hair section by section and wrap it this way. I again notice that this helps with mitigating tangles and any type of hiccups because it is longer. So what I do is, and I'm going to be looking in the mirror from time to time. So I just comb it forward and I take my time. I do take my time. I make sure this section is nice and detangled, and I bring it forward. And I do wrap my hair in the same direction every time. I know some people alternate and do whatever you feel is best for you and your hair, but I've never had an issue wrapping it in the same direction for years and years and years. At this point, it would be awkward for me to change directions because I'm so used to doing it this way. But do it however you want. The whole point is that you want to protect your hair at night, and I do it by wrapping my hair. So anyway, so once that section is done, I take a small section in the back, and again, I just section by section. So I take this section, comb it. I take the next section, okay, and I comb it from the ends on up, because we know that's how we're supposed to comb our hair. And I just take my time. And if I feel any tangles, you know, I comb in a staccato fashion. Again, this is a throwback. Anybody who's familiar knows what I'm talking about. But basically start and stop. So I bring the comb through, and if I feel a tangle, I stop. I don't power through it. I stop, and then I pick that comb up again, and I go to the bottom to make sure there's no tangles and work my way on up. And when I feel that there are no tangles, then I start again from the top. That's how I comb my hair. And right now I don't feel anything. So I'm adding this portion to the front portion. So I'm combing all this together, making sure there are no tangles. No tangles. And I do take my time. Like I said, it takes me a little longer now to wrap my hair, but it's worth it. So again, I take, now that this is combed through and detangled and going the way that I want it to go, I take another section. And I don't do anything fancy. I just part it with my fingers, okay? I just part it with my fingers, and I do the same thing. Just combing it through. And I make sure you get the nape of the neck. And just make sure that everything is detangled. Take your time. Take your time. Okay, and then I drop it and I just work around. I feel around, I work, I comb. Like that. Okay, so big majority of, or big portion of my hair is now going this way. And then what I like to do is I like to detangle this part before wrapping it around that way. It's just easier for me. So I detangle this way and I go to the bottom. I take my time. And then I part this part, I comb it. Oh, I got a tangle, okay? So what I do is when I get tangles, I stop right there. I feel the tension on my hair where the tangle is on the comb. Again, I don't power through it. That causes breakage. So once I feel that tension, I stop right there. I feel the tension where the comb is. I pull the comb out, and because these tangles are the result of combing down, What I do is I take it and I lift my hairs up out of the tangle. That's how I detangle my hair. I lift it up out of the tangle until it's free and clear. Okay? And that's how I do it. Let me see if we get another. So, comb this through. Seems fine. Now I bring to the back. And I let it join all the other hairs. And I take my time and comb it. Okay. So now we only got what? Little slither left. So this is when I comb my bangs. I comb my bangs and I join it with this. And again, if I had a tangle at the end, I would take that tangle and pull the hairs up out of the tangle until it's free. And then I would comb through. Okay. Now my hair is behaving pretty well because usually I have a little bit more tangles that I have to deal with. But it's all good. It's all good. And then I just take my bangs and I just comb it on and let it join the rest of the gang on this side. Okay, now bear with me. I'm going to look in the mirror. So I get okay, so then I take this portion and I just wrap it around. I hold it tight or taut and I wrap it around. Take that little portion and I just take my time. You know, I just take my time. There's no magic behind wrapping. I think it's just patience. Taking your time and patience. I make sure I get the hair behind my ear. You know, I want it to lay flat. I want everything to lay flat. And I hold it. I anchor my hair so it doesn't come cascading down. I anchor my hair with my hand and I take everything in front of that hand that's hanging down and I comb it around. I'm just molding it to my head, you know. And of course, when my hair was, well, it really doesn't matter because with my hair being longer or shorter, sometimes it would cascade down. It would take a while. But now, well, no, sometimes it does. Like when I first wash it and wrap it for the first time, yeah, it takes me forever because it cascades down and I got to sort of, you know, make sure it stays and molds and doesn't move. And I know a lot of you guys can relate. But now that I'm pretty much a week into me wrapping it, it pretty much knows what to do. It pretty much has memory, hair memory, if you will, and will stay. And I just take my time. I make sure everything's smooth because I don't want anything crumpled. I don't want any type of folding or any type of, I just like it to be smooth. I like a smooth silhouette when I wrap my hair. Now that everything is wrapped, I just run my hands over it just to be sure, Okay. And then I keep still. I keep very still. Okay, so then I grab my wrap cap. Well, they call it a cap, but we're not going to argue about that. So I take this. I use it so that the fluffy part goes on top of the sticky part. So I use it so that I guess the logo or the tag is upside down. That's how it usually ends up for me. So I take it, and what I do is I start from one side and then I slide it. Okay, I slide it because I want to get that smooth result. Again, I want that smooth result. So I place this down right here on my head, then I pull it again. Now this time I'm going to free my ear from underneath the cap so that it gets all the hair that's behind my ear. Okay, so I'm going to free my ear. Okay, and then I'm going to pull it again so that it's smooth. So I just pull it a little bit like this, and it's catching all that hair. And then I stop right about where the point is, almost to the middle of my head, right at my widow's peak. And then I just Velcro, making sure that the fluffy meets the sticky, okay? And then I just Velcro that. Then I make sure everything's smooth. So I take this out, I take my ears out, make sure my ears are out, and I smooth the top, okay? Because I don't want a muffin top. I don't want a muffin top with regard to my hair and it spilling out on top. It's tall enough, so I just smooth it on out. Okay, so with the wrap cap, it's all about 1, 2, 3. Placement, swirl, and the tuck. So placement of the cap, swirl it around. That helps with the smoothing. And the tuck. I want to tuck everything in, make sure nothing's spilling out. We don't want no muffin tops on top of our head. Okay, so now that everything's smooth, from what I can tell. All right. I think we're doing all right. Now we get into the second scarf. And I will just say, with this cap, I like it. Sometimes it does leave an indentation because of the way that the ends of the scarf or the cap, the way that they are. So I might have a little ridge when I wake up, or a little indentation, which I don't particularly care for, but it is what it is. And right now, that's what we're working with. But I got some ideas bubbling in my head, so I may try and come up with a remedy for that. But anyway, we on to the second scarf. And what I do is, again, I use this to cover the cap that the wrap cap doesn't cover. So I just take the scarf, and I like to have the seam, okay, so it has a seam down the middle, and I like to have the smoothest part, not the rough part of the seam, but I like to have the smooth part on my head, and I leave the rough part out. So this will be placed up against my head, my crown. And I just place it. Don't make fun of my scarf. Do not. Anyway, we place it right there. I like my U to be right about here, almost at the top. Well, almost like to the middle of my head. And then I pull the rest down. I make sure all this covers my nape. Like I've said many times before, we want to cover as much of our hair as possible. We don't want anything hanging out. So that includes the nape of the neck. Okay? Okay. So we cover that. I anchor it in the back, tether, anchor. And then I just crisscross. I just like to crisscross it right here. And I make sure that it covers my ears, or the tops of my ears. So I just put my finger underneath and I pull this down. And I pull this up. Again, this is all part of adjustment. Pull that down. I crisscross again in the back. I crisscross so that it's wide in the back. And then I bring it around. And now that it's in the front again, I like to tie mine off to the side. It does not matter if you want to put your bow right here or your tie right here. Do what you feel is in your spirit, okay? I like to do it on the side. It's just more comfortable for me, like when I lay down. And that way, again, I don't get any extra ridges or bumps or lumps or whatever on my head or on my hair or in my hair. And then I just tie it very loosely. Again, I don't want it too tight so that I'm having creases and, you know, I still want blood flow to my forehead, you know, that's important. Anyway, so, and then I just tuck this so it's not just laying down. That's just personal preference or whatever. And then what I do is I just fold it on up, you know, expose more of my forehead so that when I'm ready to wash my face and all like that. And we're going to do a nighttime routine. Yes, I've heard in the streets that that's what y'all want. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to do a nighttime routine. But this is sort of the precursor. This is sort of laying down the groundwork of what, you know, the nighttime routine is. This is sort of, you know, the preview. Okay. So that's pretty much it. And then I lay my head down and then I go to sleep. Then I wake up and then I just unwrap everything. Now, I know for some people it's like, you know, it may seem a little extra to do 2 scarves. And you get no argument from me. If I could do it all in 1 scarf, which I used to do. I used to just do this one, okay? The U scarf. The one that's off limits as far as any criticism. Because I'm not having no hateration on my scarf. That's it. That's all there is to it. Anyway, so the U scarf or the scarf the topper, I used to just do it with that. And again, for those who are familiar, for those who are initiated, I stopped using just this one only because I found that my hair was getting tangled up in the back as far as where I would tie it. And as well as now that it was growing longer, it seemed like my ends were getting caught and not laying as smooth as I want. So that's why I got the wrap cap. And I just find that the one slot of material and just working that around and then securing that and then putting on the scarf, it just made for a happier result and a happier me. So if anybody thinks I look a little weird, and that's okay. That's okay. This is for nighttime, honey. This is so when I go out in the daytime, I am at my glorious and my most fullest beauty. But at nighttime, it takes prep. We got to prep in order to get to the pretty. And this is part of the prep. So there you have it. Wrapping it up, part 2. So I think we can put a button on it. What do you think? I think so. I really do. So that wasn't too bad, right? We were in and out, okay? I want to thank you so much for dialing in and showing up. I really do appreciate it. I really do. I really do. And yeah, we'll be back talking about some more stuff. You know, I done heard the word on the streets and I heard your requests and I told you I was adding them to the list. So your request may just be coming up. So you gotta come back for that. So you already know. It's going to be the same Dolce dial. It's going to be the same Dolce channel. So you come on back.